Hello everyone. In today's video we are going to learn about the Java identifiers, what Java identifiers are and certain rules related to them, how we can define Java identifiers. So let us start without wasting time. So what is a Java identifier? A Java identifier is nothing but simply a name which can be used to identify certain entity in our code sample. For example, if I define a class with name identifiers as I have done here, in this case identifiers keyword is the identifier which identifies a class, and then here the keyword main is an identifier which identifies our main method. Similarly here args is the identifier which identifies our string array. So we know what identifiers are. For example, if I declare a variable int area, then this area is the keyword or identifier which identifies a primitive data type. Simply, in case of another example, let me show you 2.4f here. In this case radius is also an identifier. So an identifier is just a name which can be a class, a method, a variable, or even a label. So there are, now we all know what identifiers are. Now let us discuss certain rules regarding defining Java identifiers. So first is that what different characters are legal or valid for defining an identifier. So let me tell you that from all characters from 0 to 9 and from small a to small z and from capital A to capital Z, along with a special character, and that is dollar, these all characters are valid for defining a Java identifier. We can use these characters to define Java identifier. For example, if I have to define say if I have to define area, then I can write it as int area 192 anything. Similarly, I can also write int a, and I can also write int p, int integer z, anything. Even the dollar can be used. Let me show you how. Int area is equal to 4. Here you can see there is no error. There is no error and it's all good because dollar character is valid for a Java identifier. So this was the first rule to define a Java identifier. Now the second rule is that second rule is that it doesn't start with a numeral. That is, a Java identifier can't start from a numeral. When I say numeral, I mean numeral means from 1 to 3. That is a number. For example, if I try to define 1 2 3 area, then it will show as a error. You can see here it says syntax error or on token 123, delete this token. So this is an invalid identifier. But if we place this 123 after or in between any other character, then it will be a valid identifier. So this was the second rule, and the third rule related to is that there is there is no limit on the length of our Java identifier, no limit on the length. So if I have to name integer, say Java is Java is beautiful and entertaining, so there is no problem in defining how lengthy our identifier or the name is. It doesn't matter, there is no upper limit. Now the fourth rule is that Java identifiers are case sensitive. Java identifiers are case sensitive. What do I mean to say case sensitive? That Java identifiers are case sensitive means we can differentiate with respect to case. For example, if I define a Java identifier as if I define an integer as num is equal to 5, or just say a num, and then I again define an integer with capital NUM, then these two are different, they are not same. This is because Java is case sensitive. So this was the fourth rule, and the fifth rule is that we can use all other API used names. For example, if there is a class name or interface name already present in Java API, then we can also use them as our Java identifier. There will be no error. So the fifth rule is that we can use already used API names. For example, if we all know that there is a interface called runnable present inside the Java API, but here I can define an integer as runnable and there will be no error and no problem. Sorry for that. Also, we can use an integer as string. We all know that string is a class in Java, so this shows that we can use already defined API names, no problem in that. Now let us move to our next rule, and that is we cannot use reserved keywords. We cannot use reserved keywords. What do I mean to say by keywords is that the already defined keywords like integer, float, and string. String, we cannot say string, but string is a class name, not a keyword, so we can not use true, we cannot use false, because all these are keywords. There are total of 58 keywords in 53 keywords in Java, and all of them has different functions. For example, if and else, all these are keywords and we cannot use them. Let me show you how. If I try to define a primitive of type integer and I name it int, it will give an error. It will not be accepted. And similarly, if I use if as an identifier, it will also be an error. You can see here. So these are the rules related to the Java identifiers. Hope you get it easily and understood it. If you like the video, then please share it and subscribe it. Thanks for watching. In next videos I will be discussing about some more Java concepts like data types. So thanks for being here. Thank you.